purposes only. Although I am a licensed clinician, I'm also just a person. I love to be able to be in my real life and speak from that point. And that's where this podcast is coming from. So enjoy.
Searching for truth, looking for answers. There must be a way to another day.
Hello, everyone. Man, I look like I
amazing
rolled out of bed. Like, hello, everyone. I am ready for bed. Is what it is.
It is our 7th year anniversary of ever meeting today.
It's our 7th year anniversary of ever meeting.
The first day we met, yeah.
Of being in, we got engaged on this day.
1 year later.
And I found out I was pregnant actually like a few days before this day.
The engagement.
Yeah, before the engagement. Yeah. So it's an important day filled with lots of memories.
And what did we do today?
What did we do? Everything was for soul except for us at the end. Let's see. I woke up, took the dog for a walk, came back home, took my kid to a play date, came back home, went grocery shopping, came back home, went to the office, worked, came back home, made dinner, took a shower, put daughter to bed, and hello.
Here we are.
So anywho, toupees.
There's
this like, so I follow this lady. I follow this lady on Instagram. Her name is she's goes by the Toupee Queen. And I mean, I'll say she's dope. Like, she's making stuff look like 100% authentic. My fear, I guess, or just not fear, or just thought is like, oh my God, how many people have I hooked up with possibly? And
You're
how
saying
many
guys?
Yeah, these are all men.
Yeah.
These are all men that go to her.
Oh, that's a new thing, yeah.
It's like, it's amazing. But like, she makes it look, so she shaves this part only, keeps the sides there, right? Does whatever she does to the sides.
Fades it up.
Then she takes the real hair toupee that she has, puts some glue, special glue on the bald part, and then that part, and then like light, just like really detailed, specifically puts it on, and you would never think.
I mean,
ever.
As a guy, do you think that like a guy would say that to someone? Like, at what point in the relations development would you say, hey, by the way, I'm bald and this is all fake?
The thing though is that like, it doesn't come off for like 2 weeks, and then you go back so that she can take it off, and then she'll re-put it on and shave your bald spot. So it's like, no one would ever know, because you're showering with it, you're sleeping with it, it doesn't come off.
Dude,
no one will ever know.
Ever? You're saying these people would just do this for fucking ever? That's the biggest lie of ever.
I mean, I'm saying that if they chose to do it forever and not say anything, they could get away with it. Now, my thing is, do we have a difference here between men and women? Because women wear wigs, women wear weaves.
I think, yeah, but I think guys kind of like know that now, like, you know.
Or is it different because the men are actually bald underneath? The women actually have hair.
Right. It's like,
is that a different thing?
There. Well, sometimes like a woman might have like a shaved head or something, you know, and it's just has this long. I mean, as a guy, like, I know the difference though when you're like grabbing hair.
Not with this.
No. I'm talking about for girls, because it's either weaved in and you can feel it over here.
Oh, for girls, yeah, you can, yeah.
Or it's like a complete wig and like you can.
No, but the lace fronts you can't see shit.
Yeah, but it's
Like
like
a
it
bomb
can't
ass
go.
lace front.
Yeah, but that's not gonna last for like that needs to be maintained on like a daily basis. Like that
Well,
shit.
and I mean during like some serious rough sex, it'll come
Right.
off. I mean,
This
if
is what I'm
someone's
saying.
pulling it, it'll come off. But the toupee for the men, it won't.
Right. And if you have like a short hair too, like girls aren't really like grabbing it or anything, right? So,
Right.
but man, that's like the biggest lie of all. Like imagine if you just found I look I just went boop.
So, question: when you used to meet girls, right? And let's say you saw their hair and you thought it was a weave, but
Oh
like
my God.
they didn't say anything or anything like that, would you ever ask them? Or did they ever tell you it was a wig or a weave?
You know, the funny thing, it was like kind of an evolution through the process. And first girl, there was a lot of girls in Minnesota that actually had the weave in, like white chicks too. You know, it was
Oh,
very common thing
absolutely.
because their hair like was maybe like thin or like
Listen,
it wasn't
ever
like
since
super
Britney
full.
Spears, ever since Britney Spears,
Yeah.
okay? Ever since Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera.
But it's like for me, I remember it was like I called it like a roadblock because you'd go to like to grab and then it would just be like boom, you'd hit
But there's
that
also
fucking shit back
there's
there.
also different types of weaves though. And the weaves have actually like gotten like, I guess I'm sure progressed as time has gone on. But they used to, well, they still do have the weaves where they would glue or something a piece of it to your hair.
Yeah, it's all like
But you
in
can
there.
you can feel it if you like really get in there.
Yeah, there's this point where if you can't like go, you know, you like run your fingers.
Yeah.
There's a
You're not
point.
feeling
There's
all
a roadblock.
scalp. There's some
There's a
like,
roadblock there.
there's a roadblock.
So then that's kind of like how it started, and I was just like, okay, well, it's like you still have your hair, and like this just makes it look like cool or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. But then, then it was like dating, like,
but did she ever come out and say, I have a weave or I'm wearing a wig?
No,
is that a thing?
It was just pretty obvious, and then like as we were dating, it was just like all of a sudden like, oh, that's what you're doing today.
That's what I'm
huh?
saying.
Like,
So what I really want to know is like, is it a thing? Like, is it a thing for people who wear wigs, toupees, weaves, whatever, to actually tell the person who you're dating, who you're with now, not just dating, not just hooking up with, you know, not just fucking, someone who you're actually like in
it's
a
been a couple
relationship with,
months,
right?
been like,
Do you like, is it a thing? Are you like, hey, so it's actually not my real hair?
well,
Or does it just get left alone?
are you talking about a girl or guy?
Both.
I think it's different.
It just doesn't.
For girls, it's been around. Everybody fucking knows, right? And I don't think that there's a moment where like, hey, by the way, I just want to let you know, like I have a weave in. I'd be like, yeah, no fucking shit. I hit the speed bump like 80 times in the past 2 months, you know, like, but so for girls, I think it's just a thing and it's become trendy.
Is it, or it's more like acceptable because it's a female and like wigs and all that stuff?
And at the end of the day, she
on?
doesn't have like a big bald spot.
But
most
men have
likely,
been wearing
you know?
wigs ever since Washington times.
Yeah, but that was because there was an epidemic and people were like dying, and before they died, they were like losing their hair and chunks of their hair were coming out.
Wait, are you serious?
It's like the Spanish flu and some other fucking things that were going on. So
wait,
yeah,
that's why they were wearing
that's
wigs?
why they started wearing wigs.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. We'll look it up right now.
I'm sure it's the truth because you know more than I do when it comes to history, but that sounds interesting.
Let's look it up on Grok.
So, but that means like all of them then were losing their hair because I thought every single male wore a wig back in those times.
There was a lot of sick people.
Or like in court, remember? Like in the courthouse, they would all wear wigs.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just like a thing for back in the day in court for some reason.
I think it was probably, I forget. I don't know.
Why is it taking you so long to?
Well, because I'm trying to think of the question.
Why did
like,
men start wearing wigs?
Just in general? Okay, yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, it could be coming up with some all kinds of stuff.
Men started wearing wigs when really practical and cultural reasons that evolved over time. 16th, 17th
Key reason was hygiene.
Hygiene and convenience.
That was in the 1600s.
Bathing wasn't as frequent, and head lice were common problems.
But there was
Shaving one's
also
head and wearing a wig made it easier to maintain cleanliness and avoid infestation. Shit. Okay.
was there an illness
Like, what'd you just say?
that provoked the use of wigs?
In the 16th and 17th century.
Well, I don't know exactly when, so let's just keep it general.
Grok. Yes, an illness did play a significant role in popularizing wigs. Syphilis.
That's what it was. Yes.
Oh, during the 16th and 17th centuries, syphilis spread across Europe, and one of its common symptoms was hair loss, along with using unsightly skin lesions or
Yep.
sores. So that was just syphilis was going around like crazy.
Yeah,
However,
that's
wait a
right.
minute, I thought syphilis,
It's a sexually transmitted disease.
right? Only
Yep.
right? I'm pretty sure that's
Yep.
only an STD.
Yeah. But
So
it,
that
like,
was a big
it's-
deal.
Yep. And then
And they were having lots of sex, I feel like, back in those times. People were just sexing it up
hold on. Watch
with
this one.
whomever.
Where does the term big wig come from?
Big wig. What does that mean?
You ever heard that term? Oh, he's a
Like,
big
oh, look
wig.
at
He's
this
a
big wig.
Yeah, yeah. Oops. From
Big wig.
watch. Where does the term
Big wig.
big wig come from?
The term big wig comes from the 17th and 18th century European fashion of wearing large, elaborate wigs as a symbol of wealth and status. That makes sense. Look at you, big wig.
Yeah, they got a big wig,
Look
but
at
they
you,
probably
big
had the
wig.
most syphilis.
They had crazy syphilis.
They had all the syphilis. Like the
They had
bigger the wig,
every-
the more the syphilis.
The bigger the wig, the more the sippies. Man.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's right, because back in those days, there was like no condoms. There was no like any of that stuff. It was like, this feels good. We're
Yep.
gonna do it with anybody.
That's right. So I think it's
Hmm.
different with guys. I mean, this is my own thoughts because like a girl, it's a trendy thing. You know, everybody knows, like some girls like that, like it's easier. I get it. Especially for black women, right? To have short hair. Like it fucking sucks having long hair, right? And then, but to be able to move between different styles
Yeah.
of shorter hair underneath or put a wig on and go out and all fancy wear. So like it's just trendy now for girls. Now guys, that would be the biggest fucking lie in history, I would think, in a
Really?
relationship. I think so. Like what if right now we've been together for 7 years
No,
as of
yeah,
today and I
would
just
be
went
like, I'd be like, what the fuck?
I was like, hey,
I
just
would.
want to let you know, I think we're like 7 years in deep now and you're stuck with me now.
I
I'm just
would
gonna
be-
fucking take this off.
But my thing is this though.
You'd be like, you've been lying to me this whole fucking time.
Right, but my thing would just be that it's just a lie. Like that, the fact that you even felt the need to lie about that. Like you could have told me a long ass time ago, and I would have been like, okay, like, I mean, unfortunate, but the toupee's looking good, would have kept it rolling. But then
for 7 years.
Again, you lied to me about it. You lied to me. It's the fact that you lied.
That's what I'm saying. So as a guy in that situation,
They're gonna have to tell the truth.
When is it coming out?
You got to tell the truth.
It's got to be within like
if
the first
you're
month.
a guy and you're wearing a toupee, you have to be honest about that. I feel
It would have to be. I would say even well within the first month.
But how do I know if I'm really gonna be with you in the first month?
I don't know.
So that's like could be too soon to be like, hey. I mean, when did you know that I had fake eyebrows?
The day I met you.
Oh, really?
Shit.
No, okay. When did you see me without my eyebrows on?
Right.
When did you? Because you knew I had fake eyebrows, but when did you actually?
It probably wasn't until after we like moved in together.
Absolutely. Because there's no way in hell I would have let you see me looking like a fucking alien.
Yeah.
Because you had no idea that because I told you I had no eyebrows.
Yeah.
But
And
you
I was
never
like,
saw
oh yeah,
it.
they're thin, but you have hair there, so it was like,
Right. So you were confused. It wasn't until you saw it though that you were like, "Whoa, she's got
she's got
no fucking eyebrows and looks like a straight alien." Put your fucking eyebrows back on.
All right.
And then I was like, "Gotcha, bitch."
Well, my concern with it was because you were like and you still haven't like done all those fucking things. Like
We haven't been anywhere.
She was like, oh, if I get my eyebrows done, then I'm doing all this thing. I'm going swimming.
Once I get my microblading, and I
fucking
did.
going on the boat. I'm going jet skiing. We haven't
First
done
of all,
anything. You haven't done any of that shit.
Let's calm down. One, I don't like boats. Okay, so that's a
Right.
done
So
deal.
you didn't. That was another thing you didn't tell me.
I get sick. Two, we have not been anywhere on a vacation where you and I can just, wonderfully just jump off a cliff into the water and just have a great time on a wonderful vacation in Tulum. Like we haven't done anything like that. And
hold on, did you get them done before Tulum?
No, after. After. That's why I didn't jump in.
Oh, I thought you jumped. You didn't jump.
I did not jump into the damn cenote.
Oh yeah, you went down the ladder.
I went
and, like,
down
touched
the ladder.
Your feet and then
went down the ladder, swam a little bit with my head above,
Mhm.
and then.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it ruined vacations. I understand them. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
But how about you then book us a trip back to Tulum and I'll jump in a cenote.
Ooh. Okay. Well, hopefully your wig doesn't fall off.
Hopefully your toupee doesn't.
Yeah. I did date this girl, and
didn't you date a girl who like made weaves or owned like a weave?
No, I don't fucking.
Or the lace front wig.
Dude, she was trying to do all kinds of fucking things. I don't know.
Cool.
But she definitely, I don't think I ever saw her actually, maybe when I first met her, she was rocking the short hair. That's how I met her.
Ooh.
But then after that, it was like these like wigs and shit like that. And then
you never brought it. Then you never said anything.
Yeah, and then after a while, I didn't even know what the fuck was going on under there or anything.
That's
I never
another
saw any
thing
of that
too. Is that like because like you meet a girl, right? Let's say you go out on dates. Let's say for the first like 5 dates, she's been rocking obviously short hair like mine, right? So you're like, okay, that's her hair. And then she comes out and you pick her up or whatever, and now she's rocking obviously like really long hair, but it looks really real. It's lace front, looks great.
Well, I definitely say so. I'm like,
do you say right? Do you acknowledge the wig or do you not acknowledge the wig?
Well, you have to. It would be the opposite, where it would be like the acknowledgement, right? Like if you first met them and they had the wig on, and then a month later they come out on a date and they got this like short hair style, then you'd be like, I mean, maybe it looks good, but it's like, hold on, I thought you had long hair.
Oh, if I met you with the wig and I went on all 5 dates when you had the wig, and then all of a sudden
I like, see hey, you, just like free balling
and
today.
You just have like a bald head.
And then I don't say anything. I'm just like, hey, what do you want to eat for dinner tonight? For a guy, that's impossible. For girls get away with that shit now, though. Girls will meet you with a wig. They'll have a wig for the fucking first like 10 dates, and then all of a sudden they don't have a wig.
With someone because of this.
I did.
What?
Yeah.
Because she was wearing a wig?
I mean, it was one of the reasons.
Come on. You're that vain?
No, it's because of it's like you said, it's like almost like this untrustworthy, deceitful nature of it.
It's the lie. You felt lied to.
Yeah, and I'm so deep in
you
my
felt
truth.
Betrayed.
Like, kind of like, what the fuck? Just like
no, I'm sure you did. Yeah. No, because you are like can't lie about anything.
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, it wasn't like the main reason. It was up there though, but it was just like added up a bunch of fucking shit, and I'm just like, you also have fucking fake hair too. So
it was it was the cherry on top.
Yeah. Liar.
Was it that she has fake hair though, or that she lied to you?
I don't more about the lie.
Yeah, because I don't care if someone has fake hair. Yeah, the lie.
But you could like, can you even imagine me with bald hair? So that's what it would be like meeting a guy, their hair is like mine, and then it's not like mine. Then it's just gone. It's like, I'm like a whole totally different person then.
Right, but the thing about the toupee from this toupee queen is that, again, there's no change. Like, it's the same hair.
Until you take it the fuck off.
They take it off when they go to the toupee lady. And then she takes it off. She removes it. I can guarantee. And then she puts the fucking wig, but she washes it, does all that. She puts it back on. Then she'll cut it again into whatever kind of style you want.
Yo, just like the fucking lace fronts, there's like there
You need
has
to
to be
pull.
like
We need to
wear.
pull the toupee queen up because honestly, it's amazing.
All right, there has to be like wear and tear on the thing, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Watch. You're gonna see this and be like, wait, these are real. Like, this is really something. Toupee queen, and she sure is the toupee queen. I will say.
let's see. Mhm.
Toupee
I'll look her
queen.
up on here. We got to look her up on here to show everybody.
Okay. Toupee queen.
Like the number 2?
No, like
Huh.
toupee.
How do you spell toupee?
Of course. TOUPEEQU.
You didn't know this.
Toupee? Yes, I know how to spell toupee. I'm telling you, I'm an amazing speller. I won like spelling bees. I keep telling you this. There she is.
All right, let me screen share this. Hold on.
Yes, can't wait. This is so exciting. I love her. Sometimes I'll watch her shit for just like a minute in bed because I'm fascinated. 400,000 followers. Those 400,000 followers are getting some toupees.
All right, let's find a good one there.
They're all good. They're all amazing. Like, okay, see.
I mean, this guy would probably be the best one right here.
Go to this guy right here because I've seen him.
Okay.
Let's see if she shows the whole thing. Okay, yep.
Oh,
Here we go, guys.
Jesus.
Okay.
How come there's no sound on this? Oh, it's just music.
Yeah. So look, so because their hair is already missing, right? So she
How
shaves
come I
the
can't make this
top.
bigger?
That's the toupee.
Oh my God.
Washes it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, describe because some people aren't watching this.
Puts the
There's like glue on there.
Puts the glue
She
on the
shaved his
head.
whole head. He was
Not his
basically
whole head.
he wasn't
Just
like
the middle part.
actually bald, but he was pretty bald.
He had
Like,
thin,
yeah,
it
it was
bad.
extremely thinning on top,
It was
and they
bad.
basically just shaved the top
Shaved
off.
the top off only. Kept the sides. Now glued the toupee.
Yeah, but
to the
see
top
right
part
there,
on.
that's where you'll be able to see it on the ends,
I'm telling
on
you
the
right
edges.
now, watch. You won't. Watch.
No, not right away because the glue is fresh now. But like in a month,
Look
in
at
a few
him.
weeks.
He looks like a totally. He's like.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane. It's so crazy what hair
Look,
can
yeah.
really. That's what he look. Look at that.
But like,
No, that was bad.
oh, it was really bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, but see what I'm saying? He looks like a totally different person.
Go to this guy right here. I wonder what this guy looked like before.
He looked like probably like an old fucking man.
Click on it.
Well, he looks like a really fancy waiter now. What is this? Yeah, what is this?
Right,
This guy. How about this guy? Let's see, he's thinning too.
Right. It seems like
Why is it just
he's
it's just
catching
music?
it
Why don't they talk?
before it just gets like bad, basically.
Yeah.
Because it was already thinning, so that makes sense. She's like, let's just take.
I mean, maybe. All right. So maybe some of these guys are like already like
So
married.
let's see, she cuts the.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I started going bald and I was like talking to you. I was like, hey, like, I think I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, okay, cool. But if you're like dating and doing this shit,
Of course they're dating and doing this. How do you think they're gonna feel more confident getting out there with their new?
No, I'm saying, what if they were just married and they were
Look,
doing?
it looks like Scout.
Yeah.
You can't tell. It looks like just his. It's completely his. Don't move it yet. Hold on. I want to see the final result. This guy's gonna look so different.
He's got to shave that fucking mustache now. Jesus.
Look at him.
What?
Yeah, the mustache has to go.
He's got like a
Jesus
little head too.
Christ, that mustache is enormous.
Probably a
This
nice
guy
guy.
has his own show.
Probably a nice guy. Oh my god. Yeah, he just
Huge
looks like
difference.
so weird.
And he looks like older without it. Then he looked like young.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too, right? So like these people, these girls, these poor girls are like meeting these guys. They're like, "Oh, you're like 30 years old." Nope.
Man, the toupee queen. So
Without
of course
the
she's based in
toupee.
Cali.
Without the toupee, you look like you're 55.
Single people, married people, everyone's doing it. I love it. It's great.
Now, if you're single and you're just like dating and you're just like banging chicks or whatever, say you're like a good guy, like that guy was like good looking, right? But not with the freaking balding hair. He wasn't.
I know, it's so
But then
interesting.
most likely they have like there's probably like a lack of like confidence there too. Like why would you do that
If
it builds your confidence, I would assume.
if you mean to tell me that if you were balding,
I just shave it.
but everywhere else was like perfectly fine, but on top was just like a thin balding mess,
Shave.
just your whole head.
Yeah.
You wouldn't bother to get a toupee or anything.
It's too much work. Fuck that shit. I've already got a plan anyways. I mean, I don't know if
You
I'm
have,
ever
you have
gonna...
a hair plan? What's that?
Yeah. If I ever start getting bald, that's just the plan.
Interesting.
Short, tight fade for the rest of my life.
Well, I will tell you that if you start getting bald, I'm okay with you taking a visit to the toupee queen.
Well, at this point now, it might make sense or whatever because like you know me with hair, then you know me without hair, and then it's like, hey, let's go back to the with hair, Joe. You know,
Right.
then it's okay. But it's like if you don't know me, then it's a whole other ballgame.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. What else we got?
Anyway, switching gears, the death penalty.
Oh,
I really want to have this conversation. I literally sent a message, a family group message at like 7:00 in the morning to everyone in my immediate family with the question, what do you all think about the death penalty? I just heard that South Carolina was giving the death penalty to a guy by the firing squad, which is the first time ever in the United States.
Didn't we talk about this last time?
No, we did not.
Pretty
I
sure
talked
we
about it with you.
Hmm.
And then nobody answered besides one of my nieces. And then everyone just kind of like ignored it. Like I didn't even ask the fucking question. But like, I feel like that's a great like because when I read that, I was like, first of all, I'm shocked. Firing squad? Like, oh my God! Like, are we in the United States? Like, are we in another country? I'm so confused. Firing squad? They're just gonna bring him out back and just fucking all shoot him at the same time. All you need is one gun to shoot the fucking guy.
We may have invented that. Let's see what country invented the firing squad.
No, but seriously though, do you hear what I'm saying though? What's the need of having a bunch of people with guns shoot at one guy? All you need is one person to shoot at the guy in his head.
No.
And he'll die.
I mean, you've shot a gun before. You might miss.
So you want
or you might shoot him like in the shoulder.
But how many people are on the firing squad?
They've probably figured this out.
They're all
how many
miss?
people they need. See, another firing squad once again in the 16th, 17th century.
France.
Yeah,
Europe,
that's what I
course,
thought.
Yeah.
Concept of the death of multiple shooters likely
predates any specific nation's claim. So,
like those of
so
Rome.
Again, my thing is, so now they're bringing a firing squad death penalty here to the United States. The first one's going to be in South Carolina.
Well, it's not the first one.
No, it is.
First one ever?
In the United States. Look it up. Look it up.
All right, which state in the USA was the first?
God, you're answering this so long. Firing squad as the death penalty.
What would you say?
Longest question. As a death penalty. Let's see.
Ugh. All right.
Yeah. All right. Answer is.
You know what? Next time we'll just talk to it, and then you can fucking say whatever you want.
It's difficult.
The very first state.
Definitively identify the very first state in the U.S. to use a firing squad for the death penalty.
You read this part.
Execution. Huh?
Read this part.
The firing squad was used in what is now the United States as early as 1608.
Yeah.
When Captain George Kendall was executed by shooting in the Jamestown colony. Okay, is it safe to say then that this guy who's being executed by firing squad in South Carolina is the first guy since...
No, fast forward to the 19th century, Utah, after becoming a territory in 1850, embraced the firing squad.
Let's go to I don't know, 1960. Let's go to 1960, 70.
1913, used an execution of this fucking guy, I can't say his name, automated machine gun in Nevada.
Gary Gilmore in
1913, 1977.
Oh,
Freaking.
shit.
See, this is like so. Whatever. Did they tell you that was the first? I was like,
It said it
seems
in
like
there unless I just read it, unless I wanted to think that, because in my mind it's crazy to believe that that's what we're doing.
so historically Utah.
I don't know. I'm not about this firing squad thing.
Um,
I think it's wild.
Well, it depends. For me,
and like, where do they bring him? So like right now he's sitting on death row in some prison in South Carolina. So to do this, they're gonna do they just like bring him in the yard?
No,
I mean, like,
I'm sure it's in front of like the people that he did some harm to.
Right, but where do you do that at? Do you bring everyone outside in the yard and then just have this guy
you read the fucking
and
article,
you fucking just like shoot him and kill him? Like, I just feel like this to me doesn't make any sense. Like, or do you actually, hey, you're on the death penalty. We're not going to execute you by firing squad. So what we're going to do here is you're going to get on this bus. We're going to drive you to this other place just so that you can walk in front of all these people and you're going to get shot by fucking 20 people.
Probably.
Jesus Christ. I mean, like,
I don't know.
Oh,
you know, they used to like hang people in the Times Square and stuff like that, right?
In Times Square?
Not Times Square, sorry. In like the the local
in a very long time ago, in the 16th century.
Or they'd have them in the thing with their head in there and
in
their
the
hands and stuff.
In the 16th, 17th century.
Okay.
I swear, if they bring fucking cutting,
think of this though,
heads off again, I'm gonna die.
Just something to contemplate. I'm not saying I agree with this or don't agree with this, right? But I'm just saying, you know, people probably weren't committing serious like mass murders or doing
back in the
any
16th,
kind of
17th
like,
century.
I mean, there was other kinds of like wars.
No, but I feel like back then
that.
you would get your head chopped off. You like stole an apple, you know? I mean, like,
right. So there's probably less crime.
What does this mean? What does this mean?
I'm just saying that, you know, maybe in certain situations, such as, I don't know, let's say some really high level stuff. Let's just say, now this is super hypothetical and I'm just making this up out of nowhere, right? But let's just say, like a former president was convicted of like something that they did utilizing like taxpayer money, and like they stole trillions of dollars and freaking you know, maybe gave secrets to other countries or something like that.
That former president
right?
is not being killed by a fucking firing squad.
No, but imagine if they were in front of the whole country. We would be setting a precedence of like, if you're going to run for president, don't fucking do this shit because you're going to die. Right? I mean, treason in general is you get the death penalty no matter what.
I'm not about, you know, I think that as I don't really think I've ever been about the death penalty. For me, I just see it as like, I would much like, okay, I'm trying to think, like, I don't know, if I was on the other end, like if someone did something to someone who I loved or something.
I'm getting
that,
into
right?
this topic
like,
now, so I got some ideas.
Okay, you know, like if I like what would I want them to die? Like what I want, and my answer is no, but I would just have you sit in prison and just die in prison. Just die in prison. Do your time, grow old in prison, die in prison.
There's two ways of thinking of this, right? That we're almost like simultaneously thinking about, right? One way is the way you're thinking about it. This is a human. This is an individual. Yes, he may have done wrong, but like,
and he wasn't
need
born
to die, right?
They weren't born that, like, it's not like he was born this
so
fucking murderer.
So you think of all this, like the environment that he grew up in, like traumas and shit like that, and the reasons why that he got to this point and did X, Y, and Z, right? Okay, totally understand that. I get that. So there's one side, and that's probably the majority of people that like would come into this room and start talking about this would think, right?
Do you think? I don't know if a lot of people think that, like my niece, I asked her and she was like, I don't think that the death penalty is like a good thing to do just for anybody, but she did say that she agrees that it should be used for like global crime. So like for example,
Well,
9/11 terrorists,
right.
and stuff like that.
Right. So then really what she's talking about is the other side of it, right? And the other side is control. It's like power, right?
Mm.
So like if you're not even controlling power really, it's just like current ways of society, of like just how there are rules to society, right?
Mhm.
That like we all kind of just agree to, like, don't run over people when they cross the street,
Mhm.
or like, like don't murder somebody,
Yeah.
or, like
Yeah.
there's some significant rules that we all just, for the most part, agree upon.
Yes.
But that's to have the society that we have, right? Now, in order to sustain that, it depends. Yeah. And I agree with your niece at higher levels of like the amount of people that the person affected with their crime, whether it's a murder or something, like Martin Luther King Jr., right? The guy that killed him. He's up there because Martin Luther King Jr. had a following of millions and millions of people that believed in everything he said. And the reason why he got killed was because of his thoughts and the way he explained himself. That person, now coming to find out through all these JFK documents, potentially people in the CIA. So we're getting closer to maybe finding out that. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But might be at that level of like, all right, maybe a firing squad for that guy, so everybody knows that guy did it. That's because, hold on, that's the other side of it. There's no moral
No, I
fucking
know that.
understand.
I
That's
just
like
feel
the
like again, I just feel like in my
societal-
mind, the death penalty. Okay, so the goal of okay, let's actually get back to what's the goal of the death penalty?
The goal of the death penalty is to give the people that, got affected by this crime, like some sort of what do you call it? Just what's the word? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're
Why
talking
can't
about.
you think of it either? You usually come up with the words when I can't think of it.
To give them a sense of like closure.
Closure.
I
Yeah,
guess.
something like that, right?
But is that the goal? Is that the main goal of the death penalty? Is that the only goal? Grok, Chat GPT.
Hold on.
What's the goal?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't talk. You could do it on your phone, but
Oh yeah, I could Chat GPT it on my phone a lot faster.
yeah.
What's the goal of the death penalty? Let's see.
Well, that's a very vague question. This
Is
is
it?
why you have to ask it very specific questions.
I'm just gonna ask it very, very general right now.
It's too general. It's gonna
Continue.
give you this whole fucking long thing.
What's the main
No, you really just have to hit that button.
goal
Speakerphone.
of the death
The whole point of
penalty?
her doing it on the phone was because it's got a little speaker button, so you can talk into it, and she still typed it.
Okay, the main goal of the death penalty is generally seen as a combination of a few key purposes. Deterrence, the idea is that the threat of being executed will discourage people from committing serious crimes, especially murder. Retribution, that's the word. It's seen as a form of justice or punishment where the criminal pays for their crime, particularly in cases involving heinous acts. Incapacitation, by executing someone, it ensures that the person can no longer commit any further crimes, but if they're in prison for the rest of their life, they can, whatever. Closure for victims' families. Some argue it helps bring a sense of justice or closure to the loved ones of the victims. I don't know if that would, I don't know. I just don't know.
So also the what was the other one there?
Retribution?
No, not the other one.
Deterrence, incapacitation.
Deterrence.
So that the person no longer commits any further acts.
Oh, no. Them being in jail, right, for the rest of their lives, well, that costs you money as a taxpayer. So we're paying for these people. We're paying for their dinners. They're probably smoking weed in there.
Basically, what you're saying then is that we need to make so then in my mind, I have to go, do I want to continue to pay this money for this person who committed this awful crime to someone who I love? or do I just want them to die?
Well, I mean, those are the choices that have been given to us, but I don't agree. I think there's another choice. I think the other choice is having no jails, having rehabilitation centers. Like we've kind of talked about this
Let me ask you a
before.
question. This is an honest question. If someone did something to someone that you loved, right, that
Mhm,
ended up with them going to prison,
mhm.
would you actually, in fact, want them to, instead of going to prison, go to an actual rehabilitation center where they can actually get mental health help and hopefully come out of this on the other side?
Me personally, yes, because I know that the amount of work, mental work that that would take to convert somebody from murderer to like loving, caring person that is a fundamental member of society is a long road, and it's not easy mentally. Like, and I would much rather that person go down that road or be forced to go down that road.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a much, and I'm going to use the word harder
It kind of
very,
is.
very
It kind
lightly
of is.
here, but it's a quote unquote harder way to go about it
Easy
just
is like, all
because
right, this is how I am. I
easy
fucking
was
did
I'm
that
going to
shit.
kill you and then go
All
to
right, now
prison. That's
you
it.
kill me.
Right,
Fine.
right,
Okay.
right,
Or I'll
right, right.
just hang out in prison and
That's
you guys
true.
can pay for my meals every day.
That's true. What's hard is like, no, bitch, you're about to go to this rehabilitation center forever.
Not forever, but you know.
But for like
Or you just
12 years.
this is where you just have like these quote unquote jails that are just like psychedelic facilities where they just like fucking like have them eat like a quarter of mushrooms every day for like 3 weeks or something, and then have a therapist there, and
Oh, no,
they breaking down, they're fucking crying.
yeah, I wouldn't do that with again, psychedelics also it's about,
No, I'm just
your
kidding. I'm
mind's
just
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah, that would be wild.
But maybe like the first day, like just to really fuck with them, just like be like, all right, you fucked up, so, and then just like
You
inject
fucked
them with
up, so I'm
like
gonna
a
give you a
shitload of
fucking
mushrooms.
high dose of shrooms
Yeah,
so
and
that you
then
don't
just
have
like,
to be in this
and then
reality
put them.
anymore.
No, you put them in a room with like nothing, no sound, like one of those soundproof
A
rooms.
padded room.
Oh my god, yeah. And then they're just tripping
Oh
fucking balls
shit,
in
that
there,
would fucking
having to
suck.
think about all the shit that they've
Yeah, why
done.
don't they just do that? I would much rather that than you
Yeah.
have to kill someone by firing squad or the stuff that they give you
Yeah,
to
because they're
go
not
to
gonna
sleep.
die. It's like it's gonna be a struggle for them because they're gonna have to confront all of their shit that they've fucking done in their lives.
Well, or not,
Or not. But then obviously then there would be a process to actually get them to like,
Right, right, right.
this is my utopia world.
So, you know what? I see what you're saying. I actually would definitely want that. Now, as the person on the other end, let's say, who was affected by this individual, would you want to know how they were doing?
Personally, I would.
See, it's like these are hard questions to answer, obviously,
Because
because if you've never been in the situation, you can't answer it. So these are all hypotheticals, but like I'm really trying
I've
to
kind of thought about this
empathize and
before.
put myself in a situation like that. And oh, it's very conflicting for me in terms of that one. Actually it's all conflicting for me because I would like okay. I would like to think when I think about myself as a person, as a wife, as a mother, as a clinician, as all these things, I would like to believe that in the event that something happened like that to me, God forbid,
Mhm.
that I would want no like I wouldn't want the other person to die. I would like to believe that I would actually just much rather in a utopian world have them go to this like facility for like 12 years and actually do some serious fucking work on themselves, Like I would like to think that. I don't know because this is like really hard to kind of, really put yourself in that situation. But when I do think about this, I think of there was this, oh man, it was a few years back. It was during I think maybe during COVID or I don't know. But what she was and the race is important here, but the white policewoman went into this black kid's apartment.
Oh, right.
Right. And she shot him. And then she claimed that she thought she was going into her apartment and she
Right.
thought it was somebody else. Anyway, I watched a clip of the trial, and the brother, so the family of the boy who died, very religious Christian.
Oh yeah, they didn't want him to. We played that on here before.
I think so.
Yeah.
But
They didn't want him to die.
They didn't want her. No.
Oh, they didn't want her to get the death penalty.
Right. And what he said specifically, he looked her in the eyes and he said, like, I forgive you. And he was like, I don't want any harm to happen to her, to you. I don't want any. And I was like, I want to that individual, like, that's what I want to believe that I would be able to do.
Yeah, I think I would. That's the route that I would go.
I think you would, but I think it'd be difficult. I think you'd be definitely conflicted.
And of course, initially when it first happens, you got all these emotions going on, but like ultimately, what does it really do to like kill somebody else that killed so basically you're doing the same thing.
You're doing the same, and that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Like, why do I want to have this person die after, like, no,
but
like,
people will be like, they basically have this separator because it's not them pulling the trigger to kill them, that the government or the state is
it's
like
somebody else doing it, so they're able to kind of disconnect from it.
Yeah. But
it's
really
people,
bullshit.
What about the people that actually like go and watch?
I don't know if I could do that. That's almost worse than being the murderer, because you're like there while somebody's doing it and you know it's going to happen.
I really actually never understood that, but I really would. I don't know if I'm ever going to come across this. Maybe I will, but I would love to speak to someone who actually experienced that, who actually chose to like watch the person on death row die by lethal injection. Because I'm curious to understand what that mindset is of like why, like what triggered you or made you feel like you had to be there to watch that.
Well, because I mean, I could see it from.
That's a very interesting.
It's all based on like.
I mean, I could even watch. I still have. I'm sure many people have watched the whole George Floyd thing. I haven't watched that video. I don't watch any videos that have to do with anything where someone's like being hurt or harmed.
Except for
any
UFC.
way, except for UFC. Well, they're not dying.
Right.
They're not.
Just a little blood, broken bones.
It's fine, but like
they'll be fine.
Yeah. They will be fine though. They're all basically fine. A few TBIs and some concussions.
Yeah. Missing teeth.
Teeth.
Yeah. So
I
I think there is a third option there that we haven't really tapped into, or maybe that was. I feel like that may have been the initial intent on some of these jails a long time ago, but then they just basically gave up on people because these people that are in jail, like the way that they grew up, like some of them in their DNA, ancestral trauma, all this other stuff. It's like dealing with a whole building full of those types of people. You might just like give up on them because there was probably never any like stated mission to be like, okay, these are rehabilitation centers, not jails that we just throw people away and not care about them anymore. Like people only do things like that because of the types of situations that they've been through and like traumas and environment that they grew up in. Maybe they were like beat as a kid or raped or whatever the fuck it is. That's the only reason people do these types of things. No baby comes out and is like planning to fucking murder their parents like the next day.
It's not happening.
So like there is rehabilitating these people, and there's fast methods of it too. But like we've gone so long with this prison system and death penalty since the fucking 1600s, and I mean that this is just embedded in our culture and our DNA that this is what you do. You just somebody does something wrong, you have the government or the state fucking go after them and prosecute them and either put them in jail or give them the death penalty, and then they take care of it, and they show up the day that they're supposed to die or go to court or whatever the fuck it is and be like, yeah, we got you, you fucker, and then they never think about them again.
You know what I would love to have actually, and I haven't met this individual yet. I haven't come in contact with them, but I would love to find and have a clinician on here, someone who specializes in more like either like forensic psychology,
Mm,
that type of, because they're going to obviously have way more information on this population and just the whole, psychology behind it.
Right.
And in terms of like, are there some that obviously maybe can't be rehabilitated, and
some, yeah, it could be like a chemical
what's
imbalance type
right,
of thing. Yeah.
and what's that like, and for the ones who can, what does that also look like? Because again, I mean, there's a lot of layers to that, like this is not just like 5 years of therapy, like
Right.
so I would love to hopefully one day come in contact with that individual and speak to them and have them on the show, because that would be very interesting for me.
Yeah, I mean, that would be like some serious like work, right? Like that's
Because there's so many layers to this, right? Think about, again, the person who, let's say, committed a crime. Let's say the person who murdered someone, right? Okay. There are many people who I've worked with who were a part of gangs who would share things, right? From past experiences. But one of the things that I also would encounter in my sessions with them was like a huge level of guilt.
hmm,
And that would tell me, like something, right?
that
Like
there's
that would
some
there's something.
layer that
There's something there, like you're not just this like fucking psychopath,
right, right,
like
right.
you and of course many of them too were just, they found themselves in the wrong situation, wrong time, and just bam, like, but then it's like then you have the ones that obviously there's no empathy,
Yeah,
but
and that there would be like, I mean, in this utopia fucking jail rehabilitation place, uh, there would probably be like some sort of evaluation the first like, month or a few weeks when
right,
you first came
absolutely.
in. All right, which category do you go in?
And
And
who qualifies basically, like to go
right.
into a rehabilitation, like a Charles Manson, would he? I don't know, man.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, they that's a whole other story that you probably don't know anything about,
What,
but
Charles Manson?
Charles Manson was part of the what's it called? See, I know all this shit,
You
but I
have
don't
so
remember
much
all this stuff.
information.
I know it's like, and I don't know, but he was part of this CIA operation.
What?
Yeah, the documents came out. Yeah.
When did the documents come out? You're acting as though it was
MK Ultra, MK Ultra. All right, right. Watch.
I'll chat GPT up.
All right, but speak it so it's a lot faster.
Why do I
So,
have to speak into it?
well, because the whole point was so that way I could just type it, but it's faster if you just hit that button and talk to it. So
Okay,
say
what do you...
something like
was
was Charles
Manson
Manson
a
part of a
CIA operation?
CIA
Okay.
MK Ultra? Say
Okay. Was Charles Manson a part of a CIA
operation.
operation? Yes, that is what I want. Let's see. There's no solid evidence proving that Charles Manson was
Alright.
officially part of a CIA operation.
Let's
but
ask Rock.
there are conspiracy theories and speculations that link him indirectly to things like MK Ultra, a real CIA
Mm-hmm.
program that experimented with mind control, often using drugs like LSD.
Mm-hmm. Yo, there's a whole book.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is the gist of the theory. Hold on. The gist of the theory: Manson was arrested multiple times before the infamous murders, but he often avoided serious jail time, which some people find suspicious. I did not know that. He spent time in Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco around the same time that the government was allegedly running mind control experiments there. A researcher named Tom O'Neill explored this in his book Chaos: Charles Manson, the CIA and the Secret History of the 60s. He didn't prove Manson worked for the CIA, but he uncovered strange connections between Manson, law enforcement, and researchers involved with behavior experiments. Interesting.
Right.
Huh.
Oh, so yeah, no, they, oh my God, I'm not, I actually learned a lot of this from like listening to podcasts through fucking Joe Rogan, but this guy named Jolly Wes was, there's connections to like, I think Jolly Wes was the guy that killed, fucking,
Does that name sound familiar?
what's
Jolly
his name?
West. ChatGPT.
Yeah. Who
Who's
is
Jolly?
Jolly Wes?
Who is Jolly West? Okay. Jolly West. Real name, Louis Jolyon West, was a prominent American psychiatrist. Oh, who's often
No.
associated with some pretty controversial stuff, especially MK Ultra, the CIA's secret mind control program during the Cold War. He was a professor of psychiatry at UCLA. Oh, and he was doing research on brainwashing, hypnosis, and the effects of LSD. Interesting. He worked with the U.S. military and CIA affiliated programs. So what was his deal? Why are you bringing him up?
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know.
he
He
was
was just a
involved in
part
MK
of the fucking
Ultra.
MK
Right, he was a
Ultra
part of it.
plan. So he was the guy that actually he went to go see Charles Manson in jail. And there's like connections with Charles Manson, Jolly West.
Oh.
Or
You
what?
know that this guy, he killed an elephant with LSD in 1962 experiment trying to study aggression?
Jeez.
Yeah, that's not cool. Elephants are beautiful. He allegedly visited Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby,
Who's
that's
the
it.
guy
Who's the
who
guy that killed
Lee
fucking
Harvey
Leon? That's the
Oswald
connection,
in
right?
jail and claimed Ruby had a psychotic break. Some people believe West may have messed with his mind as part of an experiment.
That's it.
That is interesting.
And that's what came out, I believe, in some of these JFK documents that have been coming out over the years, that he was the psychiatrist that actually visited him.
So taking it back, though, what I said was I don't think that Manson would probably be someone who would actually meet the criteria for this rehabilitation place that we're talking about.
Maybe not after being fucking dosed with LSD fucking 100 times.
Yeah, I don't think so. After that, he's
so
done.
he's already been down that road, but in that neuroplasticity, they implanted things that
they were doing psychedelic therapy before psychedelic therapy actually came out.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, in a negative way.
Yeah, in a negative way.
Right.
We're gonna install all types of shit.
Yep.
That is crazy. So Charles Manson wouldn't be one, maybe. I'm trying to think. See, like the people, like the heavy hitters, I don't think would fit. Like a Ted Bundy wouldn't happen. He can't go to rehabilitation. There is no rehabilitation for Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy is an actual, like, psychopath, sociopath,
so
narcissist.
What do you do with them?
He would be in prison for the rest of his life.
So then you want to put all the psychopaths in one building together.
A lot of them are in one building now together in separate cells.
Right. And what does that get us?
Nothing, but there's nothing to how can we do anything with them if they can't really be rehabilitated?
So they can't be part of
like I don't know
anymore.
how someone and again, I don't know. Yes, I am a therapist, but I do not specialize in that population. I don't know.
Ooh,
I just find it very hard to believe that a Ted Bundy who literally murdered in just frivolous, just like whatever, I'm just gonna randomly murder people and then cut up their bodies and put their bodies in my fucking freezers and have sex with their bodies or whatever it is.
Let's inject technology into this, right? Like, so now these people, maybe you release them under the custody of, some family member or something like that. Now, their whole house, including some sort of body thing, would have cameras. So you just got cameras on you 24/7 for the rest of your life. And all those cameras are accessible to everybody in the world. So we're always watching you. Somebody's always watching you. Then that's what you have to deal with for the rest of your life after that.
Yeah, but I think that some of them would like that. Think about
so what?
The pathology that goes with like a psychopath, a sociopath.
Good. Okay, at least they're not murdering anybody.
Right, but they're still getting attention.
So what?
The best would be to give them no attention.
And then what are they gonna do? Then they're gonna try and go out there and get attention by doing fucking chaotic things.
No, they're in prison. They're not going anywhere.
But then the prison thing again. Like it's like,
Right, but they're not like
I thought we were trying to get rid of prisons here. So I'm trying to think outside the box.
right, but this is where I came in and said, but there are some people who I don't believe can be really rehabilitated. Again, I don't know. I would love to speak to an actual psychologist who has worked in that population, specializes in it. I would love to hear.
Well,
But
hold on,
just from what I
who-
know about the brain and certain, diagnoses, I've like even like a narcissist, right? And I love working with them, but I mean, like, even that, which is a personality piece as well, heavily personality, right? Is like, you can't, it's like, I'm not gonna really change someone's personality. Like, that's that. Like, that's your personality. That's your makeup.
Okay, but my thing is, as long as that person is abiding by societal law, then who gives a fuck if they love it that people are looking at them or whatever? And as far as the camera situation goes,
Oh, because again, for me, you're just like, I would much rather have them
why do you want to like deprive
something
them of something like that they
that they
naturally
want,
yeah they
that they get off on, that's their thing.
I mean,
Of course I would
we're
deprive
because
that.
we're
Why do
trying.
I wanna why would I ground my daughter and say, "Hey, you can't hang out with your friends," when I know she loves to hang out with her friends if she does something she shouldn't be doing? Because, like, why would I say, "You
Who
know what? You can hang out with your friends all day long even though you stole the car."
Listen, once again, I'm talking about two separate things. There's okay, this person did all these horrible things, and emotionally and morally, I feel as though they need some sort of punishment,
Yes,
right?
but I'm not talking about the death penalty. I don't want people to die, like
So you just want them to sit in jail and we just pay for it for the rest of their lives. That's what you
yeah,
want.
I would much rather not have
Oh, you
them just
want
stay there.
so I would much rather my money be going towards paying for the Wi-Fi for this guy's fucking house so we can monitor him.
But why we monitor him when another place can do that?
Because you just
Like,
make
why is it now have to be my responsibility to monitor this?
because this is what I was talking about before. The part about, oh, this guy killed my best friend or whatever. Okay, government, now you go and get him and then go shoot him. Okay, for me. So
Right, I don't want
now
that.
it's society's responsibility to make sure we all abide by the rules and we watch each other kind of in a way and trying to help each other, right? So, but for these particular individuals, it's like, okay, they have a tendency to go do bad things, but if they have cameras on them 24/7 and there's no fucking where they can go without having cameras on them, then they're kind of like trapped in their own turmoil of like wanting to fucking go do horrible things, but like they know if they start to go do those horrible things that somebody's going to fucking see them do it. Or maybe they might start doing it anyways just because, all right, I'm going to go just do this and people are going to watch me do it, and then what, right? Yeah, so then you get to that other level.
Interesting.
Yeah, you'd have to think really deep about it on those people. That was just one dumb random idea that I had that maybe definitely wasn't thought through. It's only been thought through for about 10 minutes here.
Right. Yep.
So you'd have to think through some of these things.
I mean, this takes a lot of like thinking, writing.
I just think that there is definitely a way. We don't have to like do the thing that those person did. That those people did and do them to them.
Yeah,
like it's like,
I don't like
an eye for an eye doesn't
I
resolve
don't-
anything, right?
That I don't like.
So an eye for an eye makes everyone blind, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So
it should.
So just we should come up with some sort of rehabilitation thing. These people are, if you look at them from a different perspective, it's actually very sad. You gotta I look at everybody as like a child, as who they were meant to be, and not who they become. In certain situations, but
totally. But again, I completely feel the same way. working with all different types of populations of people, minus like actual like psychopath population, like serial killer population, um, or pedophile population. I haven't worked in either. So minus those populations, I totally agree, because again, I haven't worked in the other population. But I would, and maybe I'm just going to dive into doing some more research on my own, just really kind of reading some like studies or research stuff or whatever it is, regarding like that type of brain. Because like what actually create, like obviously I know that trauma can do a lot, and environment is a lot, right? But I mean, I've also have worked with a lot of people who've been through, I mean, horrific things, who are not psychopaths, right?
What about like ibogaine? You know ibogaine?
What?
You know about ibogaine?
Oh, I thought you said I have a game.
No.
I was like,
like,
game?
What about ibogaine? Because I've heard it's like not a fun drug to take, but it can help you quit heroin in one day, you know? But it's not like something that you want to take recreationally.
I don't. So you think it'll help?
I don't
psychopath?
know, but I mean, these are things that we could. It would be great to like start learning about whether they can affect people like that. Because if that is true, right? Like, what if we found a fucking? What if it was like ibogaine and we tested it on some like
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, right? And then he's just comes out and he's like this totally different fucking person. He's like so, regrets what he's done and like wants to like do great things and then become some sort of like scientist that invents some crazy fucking awesome thing. I don't fucking know.
That'd be so hard.
But like, we don't know until we like go down that road. The answer, we could already have the answer here, but we all just say
maybe then that's what they should be doing in like these like new prison virgins we're talking about. It's like, okay, so for right now, if you meet the criteria for this rehabilitation place we're talking about, you go there.
We've taken the whole episode to build up this
then
utopia prison.
The other people who don't meet the criteria because maybe it's just like more severe stuff going on, we're gonna keep in the prison. But what they're going to do is we're going to have actual researchers, scientists, etc.
Utilize them as kind of guinea pigs.
Utilize them and do actual great research in terms of what are some medications, like psychedelics or whatever it is, things that maybe aren't traditional, right? Western medicine things that are out there that could possibly help completely. I don't know.
Right. And then if you find it out, then you find, and then you could start like almost preemptively utilizing these techniques on people that are prone to becoming psychopaths or whatever, right?
Right. And it could prevent or something. All right. I feel like we're onto something there.
Definitely are. I mean, it's all in existence. It can all happen. We know that these people can be rehabilitated. We've seen stories of it, right? We know that.
Again, we don't, but I'm not. I know that it can help lots of people. Yes, I just don't know when we're talking about high level. Like, again, I'm separating the Ted Bundys of the world from, let's say, like.
Here's the other thing too. It's like you also have to culturally, we have to change our mentality about how we perceive these actions. Like right now, it's like, oh my God, this person did this horrible thing. What? Like, he needs to go to jail. That's the mentality now, right? But like the real mentality should be like, oh my gosh, what happened to this person to make him want to do these things?
I feel like, what was Ted Bundy's childhood like, actually? So I don't know why I keep using him for a focal point, but I don't know.
I mean, you could take R. Kelly, right? He's one right there. We kind of know.
We covered R. Kelly. Yeah, his childhood was severely traumatic. He had a lot of stuff going on there, and that unfortunately makes sense to me clinically why he's done the things that he's done. Not okay in any way, shape, or form in my mind, but still.
Yeah. And then at that same time, like with an R. Kelly situation, maybe like I would, like if I was whatever in control of making decisions here with these things, I would take R. Kelly, put him through our program, right? I think he
again, I don't know, but if I owned the program,
Right. Well, I mean, we do.
I would allow him to come with very strict, like, I'd be like,
Yeah.
you can be here, but the deal is you need to be in this program for the next 10 years,
Yeah.
okay, of constant fucking work, constant therapy, constant meeting with all these different doctors and experts and all this stuff, constant going through whether it's psychedelic therapy, EMDR, whatever it is, the best of the best. Okay.
Also, it's like there's another portion of this too that we're missing is like the socializing, right?
Like
Like
he gets to socialize.
with a bunch of other fucking psychopaths and
They're not all no. This is our program because we're not gonna have the psychopaths have to stay at the other.
Oh, they're at the other facility.
They have to because we're not sure about them
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, they're at the experimental
I don't know
psychedelic
yet.
facility.
Yeah. I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
No, so what I was saying was like an R. Kelly type of person, I would bring him into the program. I would also bring his parents and great grandparents or grandparents into the program as well, because there's ancestral issues that happened,
Yeah,
traumas,
but
and we need to
would depend
resolve
on
all that shit.
yeah, but that would depend on many factors to do that. That's on an individual basis, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what the situation is, but if
Yeah.
what I'm saying is if it came down to like, okay, well, this person was like beat by his father or something, and that's why he's ultimately done these things, then the father would need to be coming in too, and he would be arrested or whatever, I would think.
Hmm.
We have to hold I think where I'm trying to get at with this, but then I
No,
just
it's
thought
like
about this
holding
is
people
like,
responsible and
yeah, like
accountable for their actions and
culturally, just in general, everybody in the world right now, I think we need to come to more of like personal responsibility level, right?
Yeah.
Because we've gotten so used to government and other entities taking care of the bad things that we don't want to do, and then there's shit jobs like fucking the correction officer or like these people that have to deal with these people in these situations, like these types of counselors for people that are in jail and stuff, but they're kind of like restricted. They get they get the handcuffs on, really. They can only do so much for this person, right? They're never gonna fucking rehabilitate them because they don't have the fucking tools. They don't have like the psychedelics or whatever the fucking process developed, right? So like we're doing a anyways, we're just like doing a disservice to ourselves by not just like taking personal responsibility for our actions. So if you're going to have kids, then maybe it's a good idea to not beat them or rape them, because there could be consequences down the road if your kid decides to do some fucked up shit. Like if we just develop this
I see what you're
culture
saying.
with this
So, like,
mentality,
right, and just hold right, and then get back to the core.
right?
What's the core? Let's hold them accountable.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
because you take part in contributing
yeah,
to this.
let's hold everybody accountable for like
Mm,
cultivating love and care for society and their
mm,
families and stuff like that, as opposed to like being stressed out. And if somebody
yeah.
is stressed out, okay, well, let's as a community or family members, like help them and have places that are openly accepted, and everybody's just like, yeah, let's send John here, like let's all pitch in for whatever therapy or something. It's like you just got to shift that that culture of that mentality. And that's not like something that happens overnight unless everybody fucking takes shrooms tomorrow.
I would let Diddy into the rehabilitation place.
Did he could come into? He's probably got a lot of
I
like
would let him
useful
in there
information.
too. I would definitely with strict rules, but I would let him in there too because again, I don't see Diddy and Ted Bundy on the same level.
Not yet. We don't
I don't
know.
know, but I don't know. That's right. I don't have all the information. Based on the information I have at hand,
Terrence Howard just said something about Diddy, actually.
he tried to have sex with him.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't try to have sex with him. On that PBD podcast, he said that he met with Diddy twice because Diddy said he wanted to like learn like acting skills off of him or something, and like basically Diddy just like was there to he just like stared at him, he said, and wasn't really like they met at a specific time so that he could do his like acting coaching for P. Diddy, and Diddy didn't even like, he wasn't even like trying to like learn. He was just sitting
I
there
could have
and
sworn
like,
though I watched a clip and he was talking about how Diddy tried to have sex with her.
no, he said that Terrence Howard said that his assistant said that, because I guess he called or something, and Terrence was like, "Well, what was he saying? What did he sound like?" He said, "He sounded like he wants to have sex with you."
Oh, okay. Got it.
But
Yeah, so
yeah,
I
so
would let him
it's
come.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I think we have to wrap up.
All right.
It's nighty time.
Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. What a great way to end the evening. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your night. Get some good sleep. And we'll see you next week.
Oh, hold on. One last thing. Sorry.
What?
We're going to start having a couple new what do you call them? People on.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We won't say who.
Is it
but
next Sunday?
I don't know. We don't know when, but it's possibly next podcast or the one after that.
Yes, I'm excited.
And then we also just met like a great new therapist locally that I think she would be great on here too. So she might join us one day.
But we do have a guest.
We definitely have a guest
lined up.
and it's going to be amazing.
And I'm excited.
But maybe we'll kind of start giving you hints when it gets closer to when we kind of start really locking in the date. But
all right.
That's it.
That's it. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay.